The boy arrived at the foster home for the first time, but when the foster mother saw him, her face instantly lost its smile. She was supposed to adopt a girl, but the orphanage mistakenly sent a boy instead. The foster mother's hopeful anticipation turned into disappointment, and she left without looking back. Thankfully, the foster father was gentle and ran alongside the soon-to-be adopted child, trying to introduce him to the new home environment. However, since the boy came from another country, he couldn't understand their language. Compared to the foster mother's cold attitude, the foster father's kindness made the boy less awkward. Upon hearing that the adopted child had arrived, the niece happily pushed a stroller to meet the new friend, only to find out that the sister she hoped to have had become a boy. Due to the aunt still being upset, the uncle quickly sent the niece home, promising to come another day. In the meantime, the foster mother, Signa, was collecting carefully prepared clothes meant for the girl. Due to the language barrier, the foster father, Hjalmar, resorted to gestures to teach the boy some rules and introduce him to the new family members. The father's gentle demeanor temporarily relieved the boy's discomfort. During dinner, the foster father asked the boy about his family situation, but due to the language barrier, they couldn't communicate at all. Seeing this, the foster father took out a dictionary to try and teach the boy some basic phrases. However, the foster mother snatched the dictionary and threw it on the table, saying there was no point in teaching him those things because he would be sent away soon, mentioning that the boy should start working on the farm the next day as they couldn't afford to have someone idle. The foster mother's hostility left the boy feeling lost, and everything in his new surroundings was unfamiliar. The days ahead were uncertain, and the boy felt overwhelmed. The next morning, the foster father took the boy to the farm early, teaching him how to feed the geese step by step. The boy completed his first task in the new home by learning from the foster father. When the boy wanted to have breakfast upon returning home, the foster mother asked him to wash his hands. Seeing that the boy didn't clean them properly, she roughly scrubbed his hands with a brush. The foster mother, having a change of heart, decided to send the boy to school to learn their language, recognizing that the inability to communicate would make things even more difficult between them. Unable to understand each other, the boy had no choice but to ride with the foster father's bike and begin his journey to school. When he arrived at school and was left alone as the foster father returned home, the distressed boy contemplated escaping from this unfamiliar place.
Hey! Hey!
During class break, the boy sat alone under a large tree eating. Suddenly, he heard a plane flying overhead. He mistakenly believed that was bombing plane and ran into a nearby underground basement and quietly prayed out of fear. However, as the plane flew past, there was no sound of bombs exploding. He cautiously walked out of the basement, only to be mocked by classmates for accidentally entering the girls' restroom. The laughter shattered his confidence, and the foster mother's coldness, along with the classmates' ridicule, made the boy extremely uncomfortable. Thus, he decided to run away from this unfamiliar place. Upon returning home, when no one was around, he took some coins secretly stored by the foster mother and went to the bus station where he arrived. Desperately to leave the unfamiliar country and go back to his mother, he tried to hitch a ride, but no one was willing to take in the unfamiliar child. With no other choice, he only found refuge in an abandoned tower where he fell asleep, dreaming of his mother telling him bedtime stories. As night fell, the boy was nowhere to be found, causing the foster father worried. He frantically calling out for the boy. Eventually, the foster father found him sleeping in the abandoned tower. The next day, the foster mother discovered the boy's theft and decided to write a letter to the Children's Aid Society to have him taken away. Learning that he was going home soon, the excited boy waited eagerly every day at the door. When the institution personnel finally arrived, the boy was overjoyed, but their unexpected words shattered his hopes. They explained that due to the ongoing war in the boy's homeland, he would only be temporarily housed in a children's home.
Barnhem?
Barnhem? Ja, ursäkta, men barnen kan inte ta hand om pojken bättre än vad vi kan.
Out of compassion, the foster mother ultimately decided to keep the boy. After that day, the foster father could be seen taking the boy to school and picking him up, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. Their harmonious relationship left the stepmother feeling unsettled. The man comforted his wife, suggesting she give the child more time and try not to reject him outright. However, what troubled Signa was not the boy himself, but the fact that she had not yet overcome her past shadows. As a mother, she couldn't act as if nothing had happened and did not know how to face the situation.
Ni tror att allting är bra. Ge Signe en unge till bara så blir allting bra. Men det är det inte.
The boy overheard their conversations and, feeling unwelcome, became more determined to leave. He quietly took some boards and built a makeshift raft by the sea, aiming to drift to Finland to find his mother. After finding out the situation, instead of scolding him, the foster father provided more boards and carefully taught him how to construct the raft. With the foster father's caring guidance, the boy gradually opened up and their hearts drew closer. The foster father learned about the boy's father's demise in the war.
När kriget är slut och då så åker du hem igen. Och då ska du få en rejäl matsäck av mig.
Overjoyed at the foster father's promise, the boy received a letter from his mother one day expressing her wish for him to live well.
Minä olen niin surullinen kuultuani, että et sinä viihdy siellä. Älä minua murehdi. Ajattele sitä, kuinka onnellinen sinä olet, kun saat leikkiä ja saat syödä joka päivä itsesi kylläiseksi. Joudut viipymään siellä pitempään, mitä äiti luuli, ennen kuin pääset taas kotiin. Niin että yritä olla reipas ja kiltti poika. Muista, että äiti rakastaa sinua aina. Yritä olla reipas ja kiltti poika.
Understanding his mother's intentions and helplessness. From then on, he no longer thought of escaping, but instead tried to integrate into his new home and make new friends. But he still missed his mother, longing for her next letter. One day, the little niece stopped the boy and said she wanted to tell him the biggest secret of his foster parents. The girl pulled out a key from an iron box, and when the dusty room door was opened, the boy instantly froze in place. The room was filled with dolls and beautiful dresses. It was at this moment that the foster mother, who had been out working, suddenly returned. The clever niece saw that and promptly disappeared without a trace. The foster mother didn't ask for an explanation, but instead gave the boy a slap. The boy couldn't understand what he had done wrong. He always listened to his mother and was a well-behaved child, yet he was still treated this way. He remembered the past when he was bullied by others and how his mother would protect him without hesitation to prevent him from getting hurt. Now he felt like a drifting duckweed, floating aimlessly and being abused by others. Although he wanted to leave, all he could do was wait. In the blink of an eye, Christmas arrived. Everyone, except the boy, was smiling, and soon he received a surprise when the newly installed landline at home rang. It was the first time in a long time that he heard his mother's voice. His mother missed him dearly and told the boy to behave well, assuring him that the war would end soon and she would come personally to take him home. His mother's promise was the best Christmas gift. The boy was overjoyed, and he finally had something to look forward to. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before he could return to his mother's embrace. With these thoughts in mind, the boy gradually became more cheerful. He started taking the initiative to help with chores, and the foster mother also attempted to be kinder to him. She gently washed his hands that had gotten dirty from work. In their spare time, the foster father also taught the boy to make some simple meals. It could be said that their days were gradually improving.